Hello everyone, it's Rhonda, your Cheshire Canary. Just checking in with you a little bit. Yes, I'm a little spiffy. I reduced the need to do a lot of extra laundry by not changing out of my work clothes in the evening, which sometimes I look a little out of place nowadays. I was very lucky and very blessed that I was able to work on my work wardrobe. This is actually one of the dresses I purchased. I purchased 4 dresses and got 2 pairs of shoes. And for a lady that wears a size 13 wide, finding shoes at a store that I can try on tends to be a little difficult. But that's alright. I found some shoes and they're not 4 or 5 inch heels, so I'm a happy camper. Let me change this a little bit. Okay. That's better. A little truth and a little life. I've been thinking about what happened in Virginia. It's kind of a double-edged sword, and I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it. I agree with the people that protested the taking down of the statue. I have both northern and southern roots. I'm related to Stonewall Jackson pretty directly. I'm also related to a lot of people up north during the conflict. Some people call it the Civil War. Some people call it the War of Northern Aggression. Check out the history of the NRA. Here's where I can educate you a little bit. I bet a lot of you don't know why the NRA was started. Do you know? Any clue? If you look on the seal for the NRA, it says 1877 or something like that. I can't remember what year it is. It's the 1800s. One thing that you will link up with that year is it's around the end of the Civil War. Please don't give the NRA a bad rap. The reason that the NRA was started was because of the aftermath of the Civil War. It wasn't to, protect our Second Amendment rights. It wasn't anything like that. What it was for was, even though the North won, even though the North and the South had the same basic training in the beginning with their soldiers, and the North won, bless their hearts, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. The gentlemen and some ladies that fought down south, they had to hunt for their meal. They could take the eye out of a squirrel that's 30 feet up in the air with the same, if not more primitive, firearms that were used by the North. They knew how to shoot. And the reason that the NRA was started was to, if this happened again, where we needed to take up arms, we'd be able to educate and train our American citizens on how to shoot a gun. They set up the guidelines for safety that are still used today. A lot of the training evolved from what was initially started. Don't give the NRA a bad rap. They're not about the Second Amendment protecting our rights to keep and bear arms. That's in the Constitution. That's in many states' constitutions. Like here in the state of Ohio. I was talking with a young kid today at work, and he was asking me about the concealed carry. And he goes, I can't own a gun before I'm 20, right? And I'm going, you can't buy a gun. You can have one gifted to you. And he goes, but I can't claim it. And I said, we don't register firearms in the state of Ohio. That's a right that we have been given by our state. That's in our Constitution. You don't register firearms in the state. You register sexual offenders. You register criminals. You do not register firearms. Firearms aren't bad guys. The bad guys are the people behind the firearms. and the ones that choose to use them in a way they were not designed. They were designed to protect, and they were designed to put food on the table. That's what they're there for. And that's something that a few states don't have. A few states, you don't have an open carry law. I could put my firearm on my side, wear it, in the open, even with a concealed carry permit, and I don't have to have one. As long as I'm walking around outside and none of that firearm's covered up, I can wear that firearm and nobody can tell me not to. Not even a police officer. As long as I don't have my hands on it and brandishing it, I can wear it like a piece of jewelry or a purse or anything else like that. And I don't have to have a permit for that. Okay? Just so you know. I didn't intend on making this about the NRA, but I thought, the light is waning. I'm waiting for my daughter to get out of band practice. She starts high school for her senior year tomorrow. And I didn't really intend on talking about the NRA, but I think that's something important that you all have to realize. The NRA was not started to, only, 50 or 60 years ago to be, our champions, to protect our constitutional rights. They were started a long, long time ago after the Civil War. Because even though the North won, they couldn't hit the broadside of the barn most of the time. Okay? In all honesty. The men and some ladies from down south, they survived on their hunting skills. And they could hit the eye out of a squirrel, 30 foot up in a tree. Not a problem. It's not because of their firearm skills that the North won. It was cutting off, supply lines. It was, in all honesty, superior military tactics. That's the only reason the North won. Now, am I happy the North won? Yes. That's my personal opinion, but I was raised in the North. But, like I said, I am related to Stonewall Jackson. And he was a Confederate general of infamy, to say the least. And the important part to remember is that no matter what side you were on, and this was within homes, brothers against brothers, cousins against uncles, nephews against cousins. It's just, it was a horrible time in our country. And we got through it together, and we're better for it. A unified country of originally 13 colonies, then, on to 50 states. Yes, it's 50. Yes, Puerto Rico said, yeah, sure, we'd like to become a part of the United States, but that nothing has happened with that yet. And that's fine. It'll happen in its time, when it's time. Y'all should recognize that music. But you have to remember the NRA is our friend. They are purely about education. Most of their work they do nowadays is with young kids. So kids know proper safety. What I teach in my classes is NRA safety and basic knowledge. So when you start talking about, how bad things were in the past and how you want to bury the past, the Civil War does not need buried. The Confederacy does not need buried. The Union does not need buried. It's all part of us. We are a melting pot, not a quilt. We are a melting pot of mutts, basically. I'm of German, Scotch-Irish, and Potawatomi Indian heritage. And I'm very proud of every single part of that. Headlights help. And we should all be proud of our heritage and proud of our history. Whether our history was good or bad, that's irrelevant. It's who we are and what makes us Americans. I don't agree with taking down the Confederate memorials. I don't agree with it. And I try to every year, the weekend after Memorial Day that everybody celebrates is Confederate Memorial Day. Here in Columbus, Ohio, there's a place called Camp Chase. It's a Confederate graveyard where Confederate soldiers were held and housed for a few years. There are Union soldiers mixed in with the majority of Confederate soldiers, and they were soldiers that worked together to create a new Union. So the weekend after Memorial Day that we celebrate, with barbecues, which is not what it's about, is the Confederate Memorial Day. So next time you get a chance during a Confederate Historical Day, take that time, if you're from up north, and learn a little bit about our history. I understand it may offend you, but it is our past, and it is not something to be buried. And that's my personal opinion. And if you're a true blue American, you can't look back on all that time and throw it out. You can't, because it makes us who we are. It's just like you as a person. I've had some bad times and good times in my past. I've been asked more than a few times, would you change anything? In honesty, no. It wouldn't make me the person I am today. And I am pretty amazing. And I have family that would call me narcissistic, and that's okay. I'm a wonderful person, a strong person. I am a survivor. And my history, both good and bad, has made me who I am. So here in the United States of America, this wonderful republic that was started over 200 years ago, we are the product of our history, both good and bad. We just grow, learn, and move on. Because if you don't learn from history, it's bound to repeat itself. That's a little bit from my historical reenactment as well. I learn history. I learned how to use history. I use the practicality of the skills that historically have been used. And you learn from it so you don't repeat it. And if you do repeat it, like idiots, fighting, brother against brother or north against south or whatever it is, at least I'll be prepared to take care of myself and my family and my child and my country and protect it as well. So this is not exactly what I wanted to talk about, but hey, it's just a vlog, and I'm losing a lot of daylight very quickly. You all have a great day. If you're like me, I'm sending my child off to her senior year, the first day of it, tomorrow morning. She's not excited. Well, she is. She's rather reserved when it comes to that. But she is excited about her marching band this year. Hopefully I'll get some video up for you guys to see, because these kids are great. And they've come through a lot. Once again, good and bad history makes you who you are today. These kids are pretty amazing. So, take care, God bless, and remember, keep smiling.